Hey guys, midweek energy update. Of course, this very significant week of astrology that we have playing out later this week. We will have the Sun and Pluto coming into a conjunction and traveling together from the sign of Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius. This is a very huge energetic shift, very transformative period of time that we are in right now. Midweek this week, you may feel this growing level of intensity, anticipation, power struggles, things sort of coming to ahead. We are also in first quarter square moon energy today. The moon will square the sun. The moon will conjoin the north node. Of course, that means we have a moon in Aries, which has a tendency to fire us up a bit as it is. Passions could be running very high. This is sort of like war drums type of energy today. People are likely not having it, anything to do with like domination or control, and an excess of those things likely not going to go well. Tempers could be flaring. Tensions are just likely to be running high. We want to make sure that we are maintaining a sense of self-control in this energy as well. We've got a very strong Jupiterian influence, which tends to make things limitless. So we're going to want to make sure that we are not letting things get to excess, especially if it has to do with our temper or, the passions that are driving us in this energy. But people are going to be seeking to make things happen, to act, to move forward with things. This is also a very good day to follow your intuition. Things are happening for a reason. Divine timing is very much at play, and we got a lot of astrology to talk about, you guys. Let's get into our report of the day. Let's look at all that we have playing out midweek this week in the context of this big energetic activation that we are moving towards as we approach the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me till the end of this report, I have also done a collective tarot reading for us. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy assessments. Just get an alternative energetic viewpoint about what's going on out there in our energy field. So there could be some messages in there for you. That will happen at the end. Let's get into our astrology of the day. We're obviously in a very plutonic week this week. Every year there's about a week, a couple days, 7 days, about a week or so, where the Sun and Pluto are in a close proximity to each other, and it's always a time of elevated levels of intensity. We can see power struggles, we can see, clashes of wills. We've got this divine masculine, father, son, life force, and light, ball of light energy, right, coming into exact alignment with the Lord of the Underworld, power in all of its forms. So it's sort of like these, two dominant masculine forces kind of coming together, the light and the dark, and it can just create fierce oppositions and fierce power struggles and clashes of wills as people are vying for power and dominance and stuff like that. It can also be kind of bring up compulsions. Pluto can be a very obsessive compulsive energy, so obsessive type of stuff can be going on as well. But this particular Sun-Pluto conjunction, of course, is special because it's the last one that will be happening in the sign of Capricorn for over 200 years. And it is also marking essentially a new era, a new generation, the Pluto in Aquarius generation. That is the energy that will begin to be anchored in following this weekend and following this Sun-Pluto conjunction, which will be the first. It's funny because the synchronistic way that this particular code is being activated right now in regards to the plutonic energy shifting from Capricorn into Aquarius, it's happening in a 2-day conjunction with the sun. The sun usually only ever conjuncts Pluto, is in an exact alignment with Pluto for 1 day, because Pluto moves so slow and the sun changes degrees every day. But because when the sun hits the alignment with Pluto at the very last degree of Capricorn on Friday of this year, Pluto then ticks forward to the next degree, ticks forward to that 0 degrees of Aquarius, and the sun is doing that at the same time because they're in a conjunction. So what is normally only ever, a 1 year go around with the sun and Pluto, we've got it for 2 days this year. Once at 29, the very last degree of Capricorn, again, the last sun Pluto conjunction for over 200 years till Pluto goes back into Capricorn. And the first Pluto Sun conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, which will be this new energy being anchored in over the course of the next 20 years while Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius. So endings, right, and beginnings. This very transformative energy that is bridging the past into the future. You know, we're also talking about the signs of Capricorn, Saturn ruling the past, and Aquarius, Saturn and Uranus, but ultimately being pulled, you know, from the Uranian vibe from the past into the future. And we're going to be talking a lot about the sign of Aquarius, you guys, coming up over this next couple of weeks. Not only are we moving into Aquarius season where, you know, Aquarius, Uranian energy are the dominant frequencies, but we are also really, really like getting our feet wet now in the age of Aquarius energy with Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius. We also, of course, have Uranus stationing direct in the sky coming up here on the 27th as well, which is another thing that's going to amplify these Uranian Aquarian frequencies. Okay, so we're going to be learning a lot about the sign of Aquarius. We are going to be becoming very comfortable with the way that this sign, this energy, and this archetype functions over this next period of time coming up here. But for now, midweek this week, we are in some very fiery energy. You know, like I was kind of alluding to in my intro, we're probably going to be suited to kind of practice a level of self-restraint in the energy if we can this week. We've got Mercury, Jupiter trine, Mars, Jupiter trine, and Earth signs going on. This honestly can make it a bit hard to contain ourselves, both like what's coming out of our mouth and also, you know, reel our energy back in. Things can sort of get carried away, and we're talking about both Mercury and Mars. This can be like 0 to 100 in a very quick period of time. We're going to want to make sure that, you know, we're thinking before we're acting, and we're not just getting like caught up in some passion or some fire that is burning within us, you know, for better or for worse, and just like charging ahead maybe in a way that's just maybe a bit more than what would have necessarily been good for us, okay? But that's really the only red flag that we have going on in the energy. People are going to be very fired up, though, I do feel like, with this Aries moon. Now, like I said, you know, the moon is conjoining the North Node. Things are happening for a reason. Even like fights and, you know, disagreements, battles, arguments, and stuff like that are happening now. There is some purpose behind it, and things are definitely happening like in some type of divine alignment. There could also be like a very strong kind of like emotional pull to like separate ourselves from something this week, or to move forward with something, or to stand up for ourselves or assert ourselves somehow. And again, you know, these themes of dominance, these themes of control, these themes of an unwillingness to be dominated or to be limited or to be restrained. We just want to make sure that we are not being so explosive in a way that is like ultimately taking things over the top and not productive to our cause or purpose. So, you know, self-control benefits us in this energy. But this is going to be people kind of like the last straw, you know what I mean? Like this is going to be people no longer willing to like bend the knee, standing up for themselves, deciding to go their own way, breaking free, being independent, like detaching from the group also. And follow your, you know, your intuition. There's a very strong, like, intuitive hunch, sort of like gut feeling, psychic impulse, compulsion, again, with the sun coming into conjunction with Pluto all week. Super, super intense energy going on right now. You know, like I said, you may really be picking up on something that's just got you feeling a little bit unsettled, unsure of what's going to happen next, sensing some type of pending change, but not knowing what it's going to look like, or, you know, where exactly, what direction it's coming from, you know what I mean? But I do recommend, and I'll talk more about this as we get through the report. This is actually kind of how I wanted to close the report. But if you are, you know, picking up on this, you know, a need to do something, or, you know, this sense of anticipation that something is going to change, but like nothing's really happening yet, and like not knowing, you know, really what to do with yourself in the context of what you're feeling inside, but like maybe what is or isn't happening around you. Self-improvement, you guys, personal upgrades, like doing things to assist the transformative process for the better in terms of ourself, internal, external, in terms of our environment, you know, internal, external, anywhere that we can be putting energy into self-improvement, self-transformation, personal upgrade, personal evolution. This will be us getting in alignment with and getting in the flow with like the universal flow right now. And I'm telling you guys, energy spent in those regards will not be, you will not regret that. In fact, the energy that we are putting into those very things right now, like self-improvement, you know, enhancing our environment, fixing things that have been broken, fixing things that have been blocking progress, removing blockages to growth, getting more healthy and stuff in certain type of ways, like taking action to fix problems are going to pay off in more beneficial ways, I think, than we would anticipate when we would have started this process. Okay, so if you are looking for a way to channel the energy that is just, you know, maybe percolating within you and you don't know, making you feel unsettled or whatever, you know, doing small things to control the environment around you, or to feel like you have some level of control over yourself, but in a way that is like solving a problem or helping you to align more also with the vision of who you feel called to become right now as well. Like there's a very strong energy right now that is pulling us all forward towards this like personal mission, or this personal process of rebirth, recreating ourselves, transformation, you know, evolving, coming to the next step, gaining a greater awareness, you know, doing something new, going on a new journey. And the more that we can prepare ourselves for that process that we feel called towards by making small changes, making small improvements, and aligning ourselves to the best of our ability now with who we know we need to become moving forward, and when this process really gets itself started, I do think that that is going to bring us some level of comfort, and like I said, will be more rewarding perhaps in the end than we anticipated when we started. But today is, and you know, midweek this week, there's just, it's like a pressure cooker. Like we've got the Sun-Pluto conjunction, it's this huge energetic shift as well, and then with the Aries moon in square to the sun and in square to Pluto, this is obviously increasing levels of tension and conflict and like, you know, internalized like irritation and frustration as well. Even more, the power struggle themes, elevating that energy even more, clashes of wills, generalized intensity, kind of taking it up to the next level when we've got now the first quarter square energy from the moon coming in as well. And the moon is with the North Node. I'm telling you guys, this is like, don't stand in my way, I will plow you down at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I have somewhere that I am moving towards now. Like I've made a decision, I've made a choice, I'm going in this direction. And if you're going to continue to stand in my way, I'm going to take perhaps, you know, with the Aries Martian element and the Jupiter influence as well. Like I have the courage, I have the strength, I have the confidence to take physical action to remove you from, you know, the path that I have decided to move towards right now. Like this is, people making decisions, and because they've decided, like, so that is how it will be. Okay, that's how this vibe I feel like is coming through. And when we add to it this very, you know, transformative and dynamic Plutonic but also Aquarian energy, and consider also like this is the end of the Capricornian reign of power, the structures, the limitations, the authority, the rules of the past. This is just total like rule breaking, like rebellion, revolutionary, personal revolution type of energy. And people are going to be taking back personal power. So that's what I'm saying, you know, things are likely to get heated, but there is this, again, like this divinely timed element of things, like, you know, some fires may need to be lit, right? Like it could require burning bridges at this point in some cases. Like it could require leaving, you know, I guess sort of like a path of destruction in its wake perhaps. But the things that are happening now are happening for a reason, and it's like, you know, God help anyone that stand in my way at this point. I feel like a lot of people are going to be kind of like on that vibe, because remember, like, we're heading into the domain of Uranus. Uranus is the galactic fixer. Uranus is lightning hitting the tower. This is the energy of the tower crumbling. If the tower is more of a prison at this point than a conduit to, you know, the success of our soul's growth and aligning with our highest potential and activating destiny in this lifetime, according to the cosmic blueprint, that's always what Uranus seeks to do. Uranus always seeks to remove blockages to organic growth and put us on the path of achieving our higher level of destiny in accordance with the divine plan and like a future that hasn't come to pass yet. Anywhere that we are out of alignment with that process as a result of, you know, the Saturnian energy, the boxes that we have been in, and the limitations placed upon us in the past, this is where the foundations are going to be shaken, okay? And where the big changes are going to happen to make sure that we are on the right path and have the opportunity to play our role right now in this unfolding cosmic blueprint that is ushering us into the age of Aquarius at this moment in time, of which Pluto's entrance into Aquarius is obviously a powerful component, and to me signaling, you know, the true beginning of this energy. Pluto in Aquarius is also going to represent a technological revolution that is really going to futurize our experience of science and technology, or our perception also of what is possible in the realms of science and technology. So that will be interesting also, but definitely decentralization of power coming, and it's, you know, the individual, people taking back personal power in order to, it's not like all of the masses empowering the few in this new energy, but through their willingness to comply and follow the rules, okay? But it is, and this is, you know, this is also something that people are going to struggle with, and it's going to be a major adjustment, moving from like an authoritarian age and all of the structure of our 3D matrix to this energy of hyper novelty, where authority is breaking down and people, you know, are kind of left to be their own regulators, and the adjustment that is required, you know, when you have been conditioned to follow rules for so long, and suddenly, you know, you are the generator of your own rules, your own self-discipline. It could be an adjustment. And that is another reason why I'm like, as we move through this energy, you guys, like, we need to not let ourselves get super whipped up on these higher frequencies that are coming in and like spin out of control, because, you know, Jupiter can take things way over the top, and I talk about that as well. But, you know, themes of domination and control coming through this week for sure. Very palpable domination and control versus freedom and truth. I feel like, you know, Sun and Pluto, the light and the dark, like these, there's a spiritual battle underway right now as well. And these could really be sort of like the themes that we are struggling with and against as the energy builds this week. People also like ready to go to war over it, you know, with this Aries moon, and just, we're also in a new moon cycle right now where we had the North Node at the Eris point. That is also kind of like a warlike, you know, very reckless degree, a boxer entering in the ring, you know, so just a very action-oriented period of time right now. And putting energy into personal growth, self-improvement, personal transformation, personal evolution, personal upgrade. This is where the gold is, I'm telling you, in this energy. Great, great, great day for taking action towards self-healing, right? Self-improvement. Channel the energy all week into these personal upgrades, okay? Breakdowns, getting rid of things, purging what's not working, releasing aspects of our old identity as well. Grade A energy for that type of things, and replacing it then with something that like validates and solidifies who we're in the process of becoming, who we want to be, something that reinforces our process of growth right now. Letting go of the things that bound us or attached us to, you know, who we're being released from and who we no longer are, as we solidify for ourselves, validate for ourselves, reinforce for ourselves who we're becoming next through whatever changes that we're making now. This is a really, really great week for transformations on any level, even if it's just something small, like I was saying earlier, something that's been bothering you, something that's been hindering you, something that has been like prohibiting you from being able to follow through or move forward with something that has been making you feel like insecure, or, you know, shaking your confidence and stuff like that as well. This is a very, very good period of time to put energy into fixing things, anything along these lines, and you will come to find that the benefit that you gain from even doing something small in this energy will offer more reward than you had anticipated, like I was saying earlier, to the point where, you know, it will probably be like a waterfall that causes you to like make more and more and more changes, because you see the tremendous benefits available now for getting in alignment with the flow of the universe in this regard, and like consciously acting to channel this creative and transformative force in our own lives and in our own bodies and in our own environments and in our own experiences. This will benefit you, and, you know, it will offset also some of this anticipation or this feeling out of control or this you know, just sense of like uncertainty that could be just plaguing a lot of people right now as well. Be a transformer in the energy this week, both the kind that shape shifts and also the kind that like disperses energy and electricity, okay? We don't want to be a vessel and a container for this very strong Plutonic and very strong Uranian energy that are like coupled together right now. Although, you know, this energy can give us really, really powerful awakenings. This can be like awakening from a slumber or a spell or a dream or like a fog, or just like bringing online also more like deeper aspects or like hidden latent like areas of our own psyche or of our own potential or purpose kind of coming to the forefront somehow. I'm telling you guys, the way our mind works is going to change as we move through this energy, and it's also going to be very, very important, and we'll talk about this a lot more as well as we begin to get heavy into this Aquarius energy. The way that we're using our mind, the way that we're using our thoughts and our mind, the way that it's working are about to become extremely powerful creative forces in the reality. So we're really going to need to, you know, learn to use our thoughts and our minds wisely and carefully, and in the context of the powerful manifestation tools that they are moving forward in this Aquarius energy. And like I said, we'll be talking about that a lot as well. But, you know, the rest of this month, the rest of this week, the rest of this year, all of this powerful Pluto Aquarius energy really about helping us to break out of the boxes that have been structuring, limiting, constraining our experiences of ourselves, our perceptions of reality around us, literally like maybe throughout the course of our entire lives up until this point of time right now. Like the way that we are thinking about things is going to change. Literally, like thinking outside of the box is going to become an essential life skill moving forward. Knowledge, information is going to become a currency somehow moving forward throughout this period of time as well. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, I'm telling you, information is going to hold power in a way that we haven't experienced and perhaps don't have an understanding of right now. Talk about, you know, the pen being mightier than the sword. Like that is the vibe as we are moving into this Pluto Aquarius energy. And, you know, learning how to think outside of the box, to be more creative, to, you know, not be so conditioned by the need for approval from like some type of an authority. These are tools that are going to benefit us as we are moving forward and as an aspect of this personal upgrade that we're going through as well, in terms of like how we're going to be changing collectively, changing how we think, changing how we act, changing also like what we believe is possible for ourselves. And this will have also, of course, the impact of changing the way that we're using our minds in the reality to manifest and to create as well, consciously resolving to act this week in accordance with the universal processes of transformation, being a part of the process of transformation that is so powerful right now, instead of resisting against it, going to yield a much more powerful experience than like trying to go against the flow of the current right now. So, you know, that's where we're at, you guys. We've, aside from, you know, all of the Pluto stuff going on, we also today have the Sun in a conjunction to Pluto at the natal Pluto degree, actually, of the United States, the degree where Pluto was when the United States was founded. That's another thing that is like an aspect of this. We had a Pluto return this year as well. The 1776, you know, vibes come back around. This really is like the second new American Revolution, global revolution one. But anyways, you know, the Sun today at 28 degrees of Capricorn, a large aviary, that is the natal Pluto of the United States. So the Sun in conjunction with Pluto, triggering the natal Pluto, very, very, very strong Plutonic energy, which again is just reinforcing everything I've been talking about in this report. And then the Earth on Wednesday in opposition to the Sun, 28 degrees of Cancer. That Sabian symbol is an Indian girl introduces her college boyfriend to the assembled tribe. So again, you know, the tides of change are upon us. You know, the seasons, they're changing, things to do with tradition and the past, and also progressing forward and evolution, and the endings and beginnings and the major changes that are, you know, a part of that type of process as well. So it's coming from every direction, you guys, and the things that are playing out in our lives and in the world are likely to reflect that. I am really expecting a very you know, significant world events and stuff to be happening over this period of time, specifically, you know, maybe this week, definitely next week, and then we've got Uranus station, you know, the rest of this month. But things are happening for a reason, and I'm telling you guys, there are hugely shifting power dynamics right now happening behind the scenes. We may not have an awareness yet of everything that's truly going on, but big moves are being made, big like power plays are happening, and things are about to change in some type of significant way, you guys. That's what I'm going to say for the astrology today. Let's talk about the tarot now. This is another message, you guys, that is coming through in the tarot today that is emphasizing the significance of like tuning into our own creative power, our own creative potential, following our intuition, okay, and really trying to harness our energy in a way that is empowering us through sort of like the frequency of creation at this point in time, in the midst of things being rebalanced and transforming around us, and also this transfer of power that's going on from the way that things have always been to the way that things are going to be, even though the way that things are going to be is not certain yet and has not fully like come into formation yet. There could be a lot of uncertainty about, you know, the direction that things are heading, even though we know sort of that there's like no going back, or like the bridges are burnt behind us. Okay, let's talk about these cards. On the back of the deck, we have the Queen of Wands. So this is why I'm saying, you guys, being rooted in our personal power, seeing, you know, our creative energy as a force that we can rely on to fall back on, even in the midst perhaps of uncertainty, or of, you know, maybe like not exactly knowing how the cards are going to fall. Something about a need to, you know, with this little black cat here, also like harness our intuition, trust our gut, but also, you know, harness our power of creativity, and like sit in a place of personal power, trusting that regardless of kind of like what's going on around us and the way that things are, you know, the way the cards are falling or the way that things are being balanced. The cards that we had coming out, okay, this is how it went. We had the Justice card coming out. So this is telling me, you know, on a greater level, there is this divine, you know, rebalancing underway. The sword of universal divine justice is preparing to be swung. Things are being sort of weighed out right now. This is very karmic in nature as well. And then on either side of the Justice card, like the two sides of the scales, there were two very different messages going on. One, I mean, and this is what it is, all right? The King of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. Pentacles energy, this is earth sign energy. This is making me think of Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto leaving Capricorn, the King of Pentacles, the power that has been like conglomerated in like systems and institutions and big business and material like resources and assets, like you know, the wealth and the ruling class and the power and the elite that have held all of the power, like this King of Pentacles energy, this Capricornian energy, this centralized authority maintaining and holding power energy. And then we have the Ten of Swords, right? Like this is the end, like this is the end, like this is coming to the end of that reign of power. And you know, this could also be applied, you know, on an individual level. If you're reading this for yourself personally, there could be also like a powerful authority figure in your life who has had control over you or has had authority over you, or who you've had to, you know, listen to or, you know, follow their rules or bend the knee to for a long period of time. And this could also be talking about, you know, Justice card, things being rebalanced in such a way that that individual no longer has that level of power or control over the situation going forward. And then, like I said, you know, this goes back to the Queen of Wands, standing in our personal power, empowered by the creative energy that we know we can think outside of this box and we can solve our problems, like following our intuition and harnessing the creative flow that comes through us, the divine inspiration, right? Now, the other side of the Justice card, the other cards that we have coming, we have the Page of Pentacles and we have the Seven of Cups. Yes, you know, the end of an era of power and control and this earth sign energy. But on the other side of that, you know, it's something brand new, right? The Page of Cup, or the Page of Coins. This is like, whereas the King of Coins is like the full maturation of the coin energy, the Page of Coins, this is the initial expression of that energy, right? So it's like a new beginning somehow. But look, then we have this Seven of Cups. We don't know what the new beginning looks like. Like there's so many options, there's choices, there's fears, there's confusion, there's lack of clarity, you know, perhaps some fogginess. Some things look great, some things look terrifying, but what we do know for sure is that like this is the only way forward. Like the past is done. Like whatever, you know, was holding the power, wherever the authority was in regards to what we're creating moving forward, you know, in the past, like that is over. And we may be very unsure, we may be very insecure, we may be, you know, feeling unstable, or like we just don't know what the future is going to look like. But like nonetheless, you know, this is a fresh start. This is a new phase of growth that we're heading towards, and it's limitless, right? Like, and that's another thing, like we're going to need to learn to think outside of the box, to think of possibilities and options and ways that maybe we had never considered before when we were, you know, in an environment that was more structured, or that was, you know, things had to be done a certain way. That's not the way that things are necessarily going to be going forward. And we're going, as we begin this new process of growth, we are going to need to entertain way more options and possibilities, for better and for worse, you know, than perhaps, you know, we have. And again, there we come back to this creative energy and harnessing that as a form of personal power, trusting our intuition as we, you know, move through this process as well. So I feel like that's the way that the tarot message is coming together in the midst, in the context of all this astrology that we have going on this week. Let's get one thing now, a piece of guidance. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know? What do we need to keep in mind as we proceed through our week this week and head towards, you know, this big shift that's happening this weekend? The end of a we've got forgive. Okay, we actually had 2 cards come out, and keep the faith. Both of which, right? Like, forgive the past, okay? Release ourselves from the past and maintain the faith that where we're going, we're supported, and that everything right now is truly working in our interest. This is this Aquarian energy, removing blockages to growth so that we can become who we've always meant to be, all right? Forgive. Be not afraid for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Psalms 91. You are in the dark when you indulge in depression, feeling sorry for yourself, anger, or ill will. When you condemn yourself or others, these are pestilences of the darkness. Anger towards others reflects your emotionally charged state. You violate the law of harmony and it will bring you trouble. Forgive yourself and others and hail God in your midst to heal your anger. Pray, thank you, God, for removing my anger. And honestly, like, what was I saying? Tempers flaring, having a hard time, you know, hot-headed, this fiery energy, like passions running strong. With this Aries moon and the square to the sun and Pluto, this may be something that we're dealing with. So probably some very good advice in the context of what we got going on. Also, keep the faith. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalms 23:1. God is within you and watching over you. You will see evidence of this fact in your life very soon, if you cannot see it this very second. Go on forward with confidence. Everything is working together for your good right now. And that's literally just what I was saying, you guys. Everything is working for your good right now. It's Aquarius energy, it's Uranian energy, it's Plutonic energy. A lot of it might be hidden from us. This is silver linings, this is blessings in disguise. But I'm telling you guys, once we go through this process of transformation, the butterfly never wants to go back to the caterpillar. You know what I mean? Like, the caterpillar is probably terrified of the process of becoming the butterfly, but the butterfly has no desire to ever return to that state of caterpillar. Like, that's where we're at. Like, we know that we can't continue to be the caterpillar, but we also don't know what the cocoon, you know, holds in store for us. Okay, so we're forgiving whatever is coming up right now as a part of our release process from these endings, okay? And we are keeping the faith that the direction that we are moving is in, you know, divine alignment with activating our destiny somehow and bringing us, as a result of that, much greater levels of fulfillment, purpose, satisfaction in this thing called life moving forward. So that's what I'm going to say today, you guys. Last report before the big shift that we have coming up this weekend. Hope you guys liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. So grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you have comments, or if you are having experiences that match up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. That is very relevant information to me, and I am so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard, I have a link in my description box below where I post these whiteboards in my Facebook group that I have. Jana also posts the synchronicity cards, so if you want to see them up close, that's where you'll find those. Come back with me on Friday, you guys. We're going to be talking about our last Sun-Pluto Capricorn for 200 and something years, and our last Sun-Pluto Capricorn conjunction for 200 and something years, and our first Sun-Pluto Aquarius conjunction for the next 20 years. So I'll be here to talk about that, and you should be here too. You don't want to miss that. I will see you guys next time. Have a beautiful midweek, and until then, bye guys.